Hello, how's it going? I'm Alex Hunter. This is my writing workout number 3. I wrote this on June 22nd, 2026. I'm glad you're joining me. If this is your first time. My name's Alex. I'm an author. I just finished editing my most recent book, looking at a December published date for that guy. And as I'm finishing it up, I'm getting back into my writing process. So what that looks like is just getting a lot of practice writing again. It's been months of just editing, of not putting fresh ink on paper, and so this is my way of getting back to it, of being able to regenerate that skill, because it is something that's learned. And while you don't forget it, like riding a bike, if you don't bike for a couple of years, you're certainly not at the same level that you would be if you were doing it every day. So this is me working out, trying to get the muscles back in tone, so that when I want to write my next book, I'm prepped, I'm prepared, the muscle is practiced, and we're ready to go, right? So the first 1,000 words I write of a book is going to be the first 1,000 words I've written in the year prior. So what I do is I make 2 lists of words, and then I start to make associations between both lists. For this one I did animal and I did weather. So for animal I did dog, cat, monkey, lion, fish, whale, stork, herring, chicken, rooster, wolf, bear, ox. For weather I did sunny, rainy, snowy, humid, cloudy, partly sunny, wet, cold, hot, dry, windy, still, and tornado. So I take those 2 lists that I just come up with, the first thing that comes to mind, I write, the second thing I write, the third, all the way down the list. I think I have about 10 here. And then after I do both lists, I make connections. So for example, the first one I did wet dog, right? So I think dog from the top of the animal list, which one seems to fit best? Wet dog is just classic, right? So that was an easy first one to make. I don't know if that's what I'm going to write about at that point, but it does produce something that can spark an idea. Next, hot cat. Similar thing, right? Cats like to play in the sun. Cats are notoriously lazy, except when they're not. I thought that might make something. So I go down the list doing the same thing. Sunny monkey, dry lion, rainy fish, cloudy whale, snowy stork, humid herring, chicken tornado, cold rooster, still wolf, partly sunny bear, windy ox. Right, so I made my lists, and then I find my connections, and it pulls 2 different thoughts together, which really helps me start thinking about what I'm going to write about. Here I try to be a little more visual about the process that I'm doing, so I compare each association I made with the ones around it, and then I just pick the top one, right? So sort of tournament style, break it down. What's left at the end is going to be the best out of what I picked. And not necessarily the best, like there might have been another one, but at the time of writing, what spoke to me, what said, hey, I'm a story, write about me, that's the one that we end up with. And you'll see as we go through these, it's not always the first one, it's not always the last one, it's usually somewhere in the middle, something that I wasn't necessarily expecting to pick. And when that happens, it's a lot of fun. So I picked Cloudy Whale here. It just seemed like something I hadn't necessarily seen before. It started making me think about big, sad things. And whenever you get a powerful emotion like that out of a prompt, it delivers itself into a story pretty easily. So this made me feel a certain way, and so that's what I went with. When I think about Cloudy Whale, like I said, big, water, hidden sun, sadness, longing, being stuck indoors, alone, unable to shelter. It's worth something at one time, but not anymore. I thought about whaling, targeting big accounts and people, sort of like, fishing, whaling. Moby Dick, a drink, stiff. Dark beer, wood, old timer, lost at sea, directionless, misty, poor outlook, mistaken for a shark, hope for a brighter day, memory of warmth. So I started off with that dark, cloudy, negative opinion, at the end, it kind of, my associations turned a little more brighter because the clouds will clear, right? The whale will continue to swim until it dies. All that kind of stuff pulls into hope for a brighter day, memory of warmth. So I wanted to end this story with a lighter touch. It didn't happen, right? The darkness overtook, and the page wasn't long enough to get to some sort of bright final thing. And that's okay. Here I'm just getting the practice in. I'm going to write the very first thing that comes to my mind, not think about it too much, and then when we get to the next page, I'll read out loud the story that it came to with Cloudy Whale. And I'll be reading the version that I'll upload on my Substack. It's got some slight edits to what I wrote here, just for clarity, and also sometimes I can't read my own handwriting, so that's the easiest way to do it. The title I came up with was I Used to Have a Silver Cross. Now, Cloudy Whale used to have a silver cross. Where's the connection there? Well, it's like a lost longing. Something made you sad. You were happy before, right? Because without the happiness, how could you be sad now? Yeah, otherwise you would just be sort of static. So it's somebody who's lost something, and I just thought a silver cross just had a ring to it that I loved. So as I go here writing, I'm going to pull up my typed up version of the document. Like I said, you can read it on my Substack, acbc.substack.com. And if you see any of those prompts I wrote previously, which I'll also post on the Substack page, just in case you want to read through them, please write and please share with me. I'd love to see what people's thoughts are, what spoke to you, what captured your mind. Okay, I used to have a silver cross. Pan's Cloudy Whale was a beached horror, a building alongside the Nine, which looked dead but stable, and even that was betrayed. Every night it would empty out its human contents in a violent, gut-wrenching heave when the pressure shifted just so. Into the night, all of us bar hangers would be startled. It was the kind of place you'd go to get lost, with thick plastic blinds that were never opened after they were put in. The single light that made it through the blinds was the cracked open neon that made the window frame beside the door glow blue and red when Pan remembered to turn it on. The gut spilling was routine, preceded by the sickening last call at 1:50, and Pan's broom that would come out at 1:55. She'd bash those that had fallen asleep in the booths and those who were in a deep trance, as dark and as deep as the veneered wood paneling. Pan did not care. All life was roused from the place to make way for the mice and the insect cleaning crew. I found myself in the later group more often than I cared for, and being cast out into a winter storm seemed more than cruel. The light shining off the fallen snow made my eyes water. The last thing I would call that time was night. The highway sounds were singular semis, barreling through the snowflakes, their wailing reflected by the low, dense clouds. We, the last, shuffled through the snow in a group, as there was only one way in and one way out of the Cloudy Whale. The parking lot was shared with a yuppie startup that worked out of a warehouse, and the spots where they had been when we arrived were all freshly powdered. The cars that were left were beaten and smattered. Some of us mumbled the ghosts around them, continuing their one-sided conversations, picking up where they had left off at the end of the corn broom. The cold drew me right up against sobriety, and I wondered if I shouldn't sleep in my car. But what did I have to be safe for? I'd probably freeze anyway. I'd lost the kids to adulthood. I lost the husband to a tramp. I'd lost the house to the bank, the dogs to the pound, the second car to the repo, the job to the youth, the clothes to the fire, and my silver cross to faith. So that's the story. Again, darker than I wanted it to end. Maybe if I had another page, I'd be able to spin something bright there, but it's not meant to be a full beginning, middle, end. Just a snippet, just a piece from something larger that comes to me. And I always get surprised when stuff like this comes. Cloudy Whale, you think it might be some sort of sailor bar, who knows? I didn't know that it was going to be sort of a woman main character. I didn't know that she was going to have lost all of this stuff. I thought it, I thought it might have been a little bit lighter on the end, like I said. But this is what came, and so I put it down. There's some more editing I think I could do, just cleaning up some of the, descriptors of who's talking to who and when we and they and I. But for the first person narrator, I think, it can stumble a little bit, especially when they're so drunk. That they get kicked out of last call and they're offended and surprised by the thing that happens every night. Basically, there's a lot going on here, and I felt like we really got a good deep look at somebody through this. Let me see how many words we have here. I mean, it's under 500 words, but I feel like we got a really deep and personal look at this woman. So I think that was awesome, and I thank the Signal that sent me that story, because who knows, who wouldn't even think that you could get that deep into somebody in 500 words, right? Here I did a little edit after I finished. I was like, aha. I said, like, she loses her cross to a monkey. I was trying to make it light, but it wasn't good. So that's why I made that edit. So anyways, thanks for sticking around with me. Thanks for checking out this video. I'm gonna try and post once a week. Maybe do some other stuff as well to switch it up. But I'm hoping to do a lot more of these writing workouts. I get a couple of them done a week, so we got plenty of stuff to work with here. If you want to follow me closer, I would suggest following my Substack, acbc.substack.com. There you can see some of my other writing, as well as read this story in full, typed out, so you don't have to read my handwriting. Again, thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you at the next one.